My name is Zavai. I'm a Chinese seven-figure pay-per lead agency owner. And as you can see, we spent around 90 grand from May onwards in one of our accounts, and we sell leads from $250 to $400 depending on qualification and geography, and we generate them about $153. Now, refreshing the screen, and I'm also AI, tiny bit of autism in there. And specifically, what I want to break down today is how I'm just hiring my first employee right now. And I'm going to walk you through no gatekeeping, my whole hiring process, and why pay-per-lead is one of the leanest business models on the whole planet, which allows a NASDAQ company to operate at a 30% profit margin, right? There is a reason essentially why all of the pay-per-lead companies are listed on the NASDAQ. All of the 90% of the marketing companies are pay-per-lead companies. I made 3 different videos breaking that down, so go watch them if you have any interest. Now, the entire organization is you that builds the systems for the tech operations manager to handle. This is somebody that I'm hiring right now. And specifically, you can also reach out if you're good with tech. But he essentially solves every technical issues, does the conversion API integration, right? Meta ads infrastructure, builds the funnels, right? Solves any technical things, and also edits out or eliminates repetitive tasks with Claude automations. Now, the editor, obviously, that's self-explanatory, and the sales closer, also pretty self-explanatory. And I've seen 4 people businesses, 3 people plus the founder scale to $1 million a month in profit, right? I've talked to some people, they're just that cracked because all it takes is being in the right industry and having the right clients. Watch my vertical video, because some of these industries are $1 trillion markets where you need a different type of mindset to really understand how much money is flowing through these marketing systems, and it's on a whole different level than retainer. But essentially, right, why we're able to operate as such lean hiring structure is because corporate clients, you don't have any client interaction with them. I've had clients where I emailed them once every 2 weeks. I just deliver them leads, good leads, qualified leads. I get a disposition sheet, which means like how many leads converted into which customers, and basically a report, so I can optimize further and see which ads actually converted which customers. And then I basically have a meeting to say, hey, can you pay me again? And they send you another 5 to 6 figure bank transfer. And in this model, there's so much money that it would be retarded to even use Stripe, because the 3% that Stripe deducts is actually a lot of money. One of my friends, he got sent $300,000 on a single test order. They haven't even built any trust. It's like email, boom, 40-minute meeting, couple of emails, here you go. Test it out and see what happens. And specifically, that's how you're able to reach $1 million months. This is something that I aspire to reach, because out of all my friends, I'm actually the person making the least amount of money, which is crazy. So I got a long way to go. And if you want to join me, go follow. Oh my God, I'm doing my first follow CTA. That's pretty cool. But go follow the channel if you actually want to see the most raw, in-depth content on pay-per-lead, of a founder scaling to 8-9 figures with pay-per-lead. Now, specifically, where the money actually goes, and that's on one of the NASDAQ companies that I've broken down yesterday. Most of it media buying, tech platform, and everything else. And the staffing cost is so minimal that it's actually like it doesn't even matter. And that's just because of how this pay-per-lead model operates. If you look at this one website, you won't know, you would just think it's a very regular web marketing company. But you don't know is that they are listed on the NASDAQ, right? They pull in $30 million in profit every single month. And I made a video yesterday breaking them down. And what's really crazy, if you dive deeper into this, is that they are so lean of an entity, right? Obviously, the leanest business model on the planet is OnlyFans, like a software as a service that you cannot really compete against. But pay-per-lead comes to a close second. Now, I know people that scale to $2 million months in revenue with only 4 people, 3 media buyers and 1 guy, the founder who actually does the sales because he has the highest closing rate. And the hiring funnel, right? You got to screenshot this, because if you're actually serious about this model, right, you will need to eventually hire first staff like I am doing, right? I didn't even have a VA until now, which is kind of stupid. But we grew so fast that I completely disregarded the hiring aspect of it. Now, what you want to do essentially is get any traffic source you can ever think about, paid ads, right? I'm going to literally show you my funnel, how I do it. So here you can see that I have a VSL, just like discussing on what kind of person I'm looking for. They see my YouTube, and they like, I'm offering like a salary and a little bit of a description, and they can apply here. It takes 2 minutes. Now what I'm doing right here, right, is like I'm disqualifying people. So if they say I don't have these skills, they do not become a lead. That's how I filter out people, right? And I'm basically also looking for somebody that has any type of marketing or affiliate marketing experience, and then you fill out your email, and that's that. Now, why this works so well is because I made like a UGC type of format where I was talking to the camera, looking at people who are dead inside working a 9 to 5. They have years of experience, way smarter than me at technical stuff, and they were willing to work for pennies on the dollars, because in Eastern Europe, South America, as well as Philippines and Asian market, a $1,500 salary is a good living salary. And specifically, I also offer commission because everybody in this world needs to be incentivized in some sort of way. Paid ads, people per hour, Contra, which is like also like a type of freelancing platforms, Reddit, Facebook group, online jobs.ph. $60 in a month, super worth it. You funnel all this traffic into one lander, so you have it centralized in one place. You disqualify the people, you get them to send a loom to show that they're actually serious about joining your organization. Because remember, a serious person that has ambitions is way more valuable because they can learn so many different skill sets right now with AI. And they will be a very huge asset in your organization if the culture is also fit. Now, specifically, I always send them a test project and then have a meeting to not waste my time, and then hire them on WhatsApp. And usually, like, I pay on a weekly basis until the trust is established. What am I saying in past terms? Because I've never hired before. This is just the research I've done. Now, specifically, every applicant, right, you will get kind of a feeling, and you can also, map it out with AI, basically, to give them a score. What I essentially did is I went on onlinejobs.ph and I legit copy pasted 500 to 1,000 jobs into Claude to make it analyze which people are the most suitable. Now, this is something that I wouldn't have to do like for the whole day if I did had a technical VA who could automate it. So hiring people is very, very important. Now, Burnout 9 to Fires, I made a YouTube, essentially a UGC format video on paid ads, and then I send them to the funnel I showed you. And specifically, these are the markets that it's actually good with. Eastern Europe people will actually have balls, so they will actually critique if you're wrong, right? Which is like critical thinking. It's pretty important. In Asia, people don't have the balls because you're the boss. They don't want, to not get paid because it's a lot of money, and they will always like get told what to do, and they just do it, right? That's why a lot of Chinese peoples are pussies. And like, I was one myself a few years back, because specifically our culture raises us to be pussies, to actually listen, right? Never think outside the box or contradict what we're told. Now in South America, I actually don't know, but they have some killers there and they're cheap. The form does the rejection, so it's like conditional funnel, loom, and then obviously you like what the test project I had specifically for my employees was something I actually needed into real life. Somebody that scrapes an automation that scrapes the competitors' ads, pulls out the different transcripts of the winners, analyzes her hooks as well as transcripts, and makes a Google sheet with an analysis on it, and it does it on a bi-weekly basis. Super, super useful because I was spending hours on that manually, and if you have a CTO, you don't need to do that anymore, right? Now your final job description is to basically hand off these systems to your CTO, to your editor. He should be able to understand the market to such an extent that he should make the ads so good that you don't even need to give him any feedback, right? And one tip I would have for you guys is to really record everything on how you work, because that offers the highest level of knowledge to such employees to get them up to date. I just do YouTube, so that works as well. And what's really crazy is that I've talked about this whole process but you don't know how lean of an organization Paperlead is actually, because compared to every single other online service-based agency, it just completely dominates it. Now, what I mean, except for SaaS, but that's a different story. Unless you have insane talent and distribution, like like Roy Lee, the guy who does like Cluely, and even Cluely, I don't think is gonna it has a lot of competition, But essentially, what I mean to say is that out of retainer, it's not even competition, right? Click like pause on this video and actually take a look at some of the pros and cons. I've drawn it down. I'm not going to go over them, but the main foundational principle is that pay per lead essentially is the most scalable entity out of all of these business models, and it is one brand that you can build up for the next 20 years, as opposed to retainer churn and burn e-com or drop shipping, where you filter out to different seasonal winning brands, OnlyFans management, where you basically just have a chatter of armies and you get banned. It's a fast cash business. Coaching consulting, where you're actually reliant on the time of the founder, and SaaS. So HomeBuddy scaled to 190 million within 4 years, not because they were offering extremely good services, because they understood the distribution model of pay per lead. And I really, really do think this is one of the most underrated forms of marketing ever out there. And the fact that nobody has talking about it, and that I, as an autistic Chinese media buyer, am talking about it with 200 followers, means that you're in on a gold rush. And I hope you have a lovely day. Talk to me on WhatsApp. I mean, like Instagram or Telegram, if you actually want one-on-one support transitioning or starting out this model.